here with John Murdy, creative director of Universal Halloween Horror Nights. So 2012 is a big year for you guys.
Yeah.
We see you got The Walking Dead, you got Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Silent Hill. What is your favorite maze right now so far?
You know what? I never have a favorite. You know, they're all my demented little children. So I usually don't have a favorite until after the event's over, because a huge component of this is our characters, all of the actors that are going to play these roles. No matter how cool our mazes are visually, you know, the sets, the environments, the props, and the costumes, and the makeup, at the end of the day, it all comes down to how good the cast is. And that's what I'm going to be doing starting this weekend. This will be the first time we bring the cast in, and we spend an enormous amount of time with our cast so that the creators of the event, and in this case it's myself and also Chris Williams, who's my right-hand man on all things Horror Nights, and we spend an endless amount of time with the cast so we can instill our passion for the event to them.
You've had zombies in the past.
Mm-hmm.
What made The Walking Dead stand out above all the ones that you've done in previous years?
Well, when The Walking Dead first premiered, I was doing Horror Nights, and Chris was watching it, and he kept telling me, you got to check out Walking Dead, you got to check. And I'm like, yeah, once we get through Horror Nights. So I TiVoed it, first season. And I sat down and tried to watch the pilot, and I just got hooked. And I couldn't stop, and I watched the entire first season in one day. And immediately after doing that, I went, wow, let's do this. Because it has all the elements we're looking for, not only the great iconic characters, but environments, which is huge for us, because we always want to recreate these incredible environments for all the properties we work with. And, you know, right out of the gate in the first episode, you have that crazy hospital scene with Rick.
Right.
So we built the hospital.
Oh.
It's probably the biggest facade we've ever built out there. It's so big, I don't know where we're going to put the people who were waiting in line. But it just had all the elements that I thought make a great haunted attraction.
In our past interviews, we've talked about how you wanted to do the Universal monsters, but you never really understood how to get it to be done in a way that was modern. Yeah. Now you have the Universal Monsters remix.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
It was one of those things that you know, previous to my era at Halloween Horror Nights, they did do the classic monsters, and it honestly didn't rate very well. Because and I love the classic monsters. They're my number one passion. You know, that's the whole reason I do what I do, is those films. But I always have to think like a guest who comes to our event thinks. And a lot of people just don't find, you know, the classics scary. And no matter how passionate I am about it, I always have to temper that passion with what I know is the mindset of our guests. So this year, we decided to do a re-envisioning of those characters, and also characters from our entire horror, you know, genre, and do it in House of Horrors. But the really crazy thing about it was combining modern, you could call it dubstep or you could call it darkcore, but taking horror-inspired modern electronic music and marrying those two things together. And when I was designing it the whole time, I would start working on it, and then I go, this is crazy. Should I do this? Should I do this? And I kept going back and forth and back and forth. And that's when I thought, okay, I'm out of my comfort level, which is a good thing. You know, I need to be on the edge always when I'm designing these things. I always need to be taking chances and stepping out there. So that's what we're doing.
One last question. You teamed up again with Alice Cooper this
Yeah.
year, your childhood hero, as you put it. What would you say, besides the 3D part, makes Alice Cooper Goes to Hell stand out more than Welcome to My Nightmare?
Well, the way I pitched it to Alice is, you know, obviously we did Welcome to My Nightmare last year, and Alice Cooper Goes to Hell was the sequel to Welcome to My Nightmare. What's also kind of cool about it is he was going to do this big elaborate tour back in the 70s, right after they did the original famous Welcome to My Nightmare tour, and for various reasons they had to postpone it, so it never happened. So I was like, Alex, you know, you never did this tour, but we can do it live at Halloween Horror Nights. But the other idea was I really wanted to try to combine that with Dante's Inferno, which is kind of weird because it's a 13th century epic poem.
Right.
But that vision of hell that Dante had has always stayed with me, and it's always been something that's haunted me. And when I was listening to Alice's music and lyrics and his songs, I saw a lot of parallels between the two things. And when I sat down to talk to him about it, he goes, oh yeah, that was my inspiration for Goes to Hell. And I went, well, great, let's do it. So it's taking the idea of the seven deadly sins from Dante's Inferno, but modernizing it